What is going on, guys? The Inside the Blue podcast, and today we have our Week 6 picks. Went 4-9 last week. Brutal stuff. A lot of close games. Colts game, close game. Dallas winning in late seconds. The Giants, my Giants, defeating Seattle on the road, 29-20. A lot of good games and a lot of games that lost in fashion. The Vikings are still 5-0. The Chiefs are 5-0. But let's get into it. Starting off with our first game, and we're already getting a tough pick here. With the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Seattle hasn't looked good the last 2 weeks in their defense. They're playing at home, so maybe you give them a slight edge. San Francisco has some guys, and I think I fully expect another close game. I don't think it's going to be 38 to... I'm going to go 29-26. High-scoring game, a lot of points on the board. Seattle's let up a lot of points. Maybe you see a bounce back from Seattle, but I think the NFC West is going to be closer than people think this year. Seattle getting the loss in this week, and I believe that's 3 straight losses. Getting into our next game, Jacksonville got their first win against the Indianapolis Colts. Bears getting a win last week. I forgot who they played. Panthers. I think they played the Panthers. For me, like, sometimes when I just look at these records, sometimes I think they're worse than I think they are. I think Jacksonville, like, they have some pieces, right? Trevor Lawrence, when he wants to play, he could be a good QB. But I think this has been kind of a bad year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm liking how Caleb Williams is playing week to week. He's getting better each week. He's going to get a win this week. And I don't really know what the score is going to be. I don't know how close it's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty close, so I'm not going to change the Jaguars score. I'm going to change the Bears score, 24-18. The final, Jaden Daniels against Lamar Jackson. 2 QBs that can run the football. Lamar can sling it when he wants to, but Jaden Daniels, there's a real case that he could be in the MVP conversation. Washington having one of their best years in recent memory. They're playing in Baltimore. I'm going to take the Ravens this week. They won a close game against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is kind of like the one game that Jaden Daniels is like, okay, versus a really good Baltimore team, I'm going to take the loss this week and go to 4-2, and that's still a very good record for Baltimore. I mean, this very good record for Baltimore and Washington Commanders being 4-2, leading the NFC East. Of course, we know the curse that there hasn't been a team since like the 90s. Eagles repeated the NFC East champions, so maybe Washington slips in and maybe they win the division this year, but way too early to tell. We're only in week 6, so getting into our next week, Green Bay taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona upset of the San Francisco 49ers. Kyler Murray is a good QB. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good wide receiver. Green Bay, of course, getting a close win on the road against the LA Rams. Jordan Love, of course, is back from injury. We know that. He returned, I think, last week or maybe the week before. But for me, I like Green Bay at home this week. I do. I think I like them a little bit more than Kyler Murray. I think it's going to be a close game. So far, a lot of these games I think are going to be close. I don't know really many blowouts, but if there's a blowout, it's definitely going to be Houston. I think Houston really shows their offense this week. No, I don't think Nico Collins is playing this week, though. But still, Stephon Diggs, good run game. Overall, C.J. Stroud is going to beat the Patriots. I think Drake May might be starting this week. I'm not too sure, but regardless, another divisional matchup. Tampa Bay, who lost a game in overtime, I believe, against the Atlanta Falcons, taking on the Derek Carr and the Saints. Derek Carr and the Saints have fallen back down to earth. We have definitely seen that. They were 2-0. They looked like an elite team coming out of the NFC South. It looked like it was going to be a relay race. Baker Mayfield, I think, is good, and I think these Saints are going to continue to struggle. And I'm not going to say this is as close as people think. I think the Bucs take care of them. Good defense. Baker Mayfield's a good QB. and I think they're going to win the football game. Getting into our next week, the Birds coming off the bye, a much-needed bye week after getting dismantled by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're taking on a terrible, terrible Cleveland Browns team, and I don't really see much here. I don't see really a bounce back from Cleveland. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't think this is as many points as going to be scored. I think the Eagles, when they want to play football the right way, they can be a good team. They can be a good team. Saquon Barkley's a great running back. He's probably been one of the better running backs in fantasy and overall. But I don't know, man. I really don't know what's going on there. So, getting into another game, Tennessee Titans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. This kind of feels like a frisky game. Both games, it's I don't know. But I haven't really taken any dogs yet. So I think we're going to take the Tennessee Titans this week to improve to 2-3. Hey, I feel like in this year's picks, I haven't taken enough bold picks. And I think that's why my record is 38-39. So we're going to take a bold pick here. We're going to take the Tennessee Titans this week because I don't think there's going to be this many one-win teams unless you're the Carolina Panthers. Respectfully, spoiler alert to that pick. But getting into our next slate of games, LA Chargers taking on the Denver Broncos, and a Denver Broncos team that has probably shocked some people, I'd say. I think that's fair to say. Denver Broncos, Bo Nix, 3-2 on the year, getting some good wins. But I'm going to take the Chargers this week in a close game, 21-15. I just like the Chargers this week more. I think Bo Nix, good QB. I think it can be a close game. It's a 6-point game. Getting into our next week, Pittsburgh, who lost a stunner at around 1 a.m. in the morning to Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's safe to say it's going to be a closer game than imagined. Of course, don't know if Devontae Adams is playing. I don't think he is, and I think if he doesn't, then I don't think the Raiders have much of a chance. Their QB room is worse and worse as it goes on. Definitely not going to be 32-30. I don't know what these score predictions are sometimes. For me, I just honestly sometimes pick the most random numbers and hope they hit. I haven't checked any of the other previous weeks. If I've gotten a score prediction right, I probably haven't. But getting into our next few games, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers, Detroit taking on the Dallas Cowboys, Cincinnati taking on the New York Giants, and Sunday Night Football with the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. Or is that the Monday game? I think Giants actually might have a primetime game there. So I think that's actually what that is. So, Atlanta taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers just stink. It's so hard to pick them. It really is. I have not picked them once. I kind of regretted taking the Raiders in that previous week against the Carolina Panthers. But I don't see a spot where I see I don't see a spot where the Panthers are going to be very good. I think the offense has looked better under Andy Dalton, but I think overall I just haven't liked what I've seen in Carolina. I feel bad for their fans. It's been a tough ride. I mean, there's Deontay Johnson, supposedly a trade target, and a few other guys. So I don't really know where Carolina is going with this rebuild. Seems like they need to draft a new QB already. So there's that. Getting into the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys, of course, we saw, I believe it was last year, the problem with the illegal man downfield when the offensive lineman scored a touchdown for the Lions. Don't think they're going to try to do that again. Detroit's a good team. Dallas is a good team. Dallas won a close one in Pittsburgh. I think they're going to take it to the Detroit Lions, and I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I'm going to go 31-27. Remember, whatever these scores are, don't sweat it too much. It's really how good the picks are. Giants taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Giants won last week. Cincinnati lost a heartbreaker. I would love to take the New York Giants here. And them to go 3-3. If you're Cincinnati and you start 1-5, I think there's a real chance that Zach Taylor is going to be fired in the midseason mark. I think that's a real chance. There's been a lot of issues with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's definitely a tough pick because I do want to take the Giants here. I really do. And I'm going to fade them. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take them. As a Giants fan, of course, I have not taken them in a while. I think the last time I took them was against Washington. Didn't take them against Cleveland. Didn't take them against the Seahawks. And didn't take them against Dallas. So, there's that. Both teams 2-4. I think the Giants could definitely win this game, though. I think it's definitely an upset alert. I think that's definitely a real chance. With Cincinnati playing okay football when they want to. Getting into the final game, Buffalo taking on the New York Jets. New York Jets, of course, have had problems scoring points with Aaron Rodgers, problems with Robert Saleh, problems with Nathaniel Hackett. On the Buffalo side, they don't have a good enough wide receiver core. No more Stephon Diggs. Keon Coleman's cool, but he's not that wide receiver one material. A lot of issues on both teams. Of course, the last time Buffalo played in MetLife, I believe Josh Allen threw 3 interceptions. Do I think Aaron Rodgers has enough gas in the tank left to win this football game? I think that's fair to say. I think the Jets can bounce back. Seemed like they started playing better towards the second half against the Minnesota Vikings in London. So, I think their defense is going to help them this week. And I'm going to take the New York Jets this week. I'm going to take them, and I'm going to take a 21 game-winning field goal against the Buffalo Bills. Let's just recap all the picks. So, we have the San Francisco 49ers defeating the Seattle Seahawks, the Bears winning, the Ravens winning against Jaden Daniels, the Green Bay Packers getting a win at home, Houston going into 5-1 on the year, Tampa Bay going to 4-2 defeating Derek Carr and the Saints, the Birds getting their win in their first week back, Tennessee Titans getting an upset win against the Colts, LA Chargers defeating Bo Nix, Pittsburgh Steelers getting a bounce back win, Atlanta getting a win, Dallas getting a win, Cincinnati getting a win, and wrapping it up. Oh, breaking news from Adam Schefter. We just got note that Robert Saleh has been fired. Robert Saleh has been fired per Adam Schefter. So now we got to take the Jets. Now we have to take the Jets. I mean, listen, that's a good move, actually. Robert Saleh fired mid-video. I mean, they were not prepared in the game against the Vikings. They just weren't. And if there's a time to take the firing, it had to be done. And it had to be done now. But anyways, guys, of course, inside sources from Adam Schefter, Robert Saleh is gone. Jets are going to win this week. And that's going to do it. Of course, I'm your host, Vin, Inside the Boot Podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and let all your friends know to watch these videos as we are on the road to 250 subs, 300 subs, 1,000 subs. You know it. Join the brand, join the movement, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.